No, like for real, for real?
Yes.
They even murk the kids at.
So the Lion King, if the Lion King gets challenged,
yes,
the lion that challenges him, if he beats him, goes through the whole motherfucking pack and kills all his kids. No bloodline. One time. And then you want to talk to me about savage. It's called natural selection in the way of life.
Well,
that's an intro. If anybody ever heard one, I promise you.
Eat fruit and mind your business. Eat fruit and mind your business. When I find that girl, I'm not gonna swear that girl will be the only one for me.
Ooh, all right. And I promise it's just gonna be one more. All right. Talk to you, but it's not the same as touching you. And every time I whisper your name, I wanna run to you. Eat fruit and mind your business.
Those kind of vibes, eh?
We'll be together, and it won't be long. It won't be long. I've been drinking, and it seems like forever. And it's out of my arms. That's it. That's it. Before YouTube comes and shuts down the whole. Sing. I'm your girl Kay.
I'm your girl Killa. 4 A's.
And welcome to another week's episode of Eat Fruit Pod, guys. Thank you. It's definitely old school reggae vibes. Killa and I are definitely in our season. We did not plan this. This was not planned. Was this a BigKilla.com merch type of day? All right. All right. So, yes, Killa, how has your week been? Some people, I'm not gonna lie, hit me up and says, Killa, okay? Has Killa deleted her gram? Yo, Killa took down all of her things. Y'all see Killa right here, nigga? So y'all ask her for you, Killa, you good?
But like, if you were watching or listening to what I said, I'm on a break from fast food. You know what I mean? So I got rid of my Instagram. It is temporarily disabled. And honestly, I don't know if it's temporary because I'm feeling real Oracle-like these days, and like I'm loving it. The simple life, I'm ready for it. I'm ready. Hello. So Miss King, how was your week?
It was good. A little bit lonely because like I guess some stuff I probably would have sent you. Or like Tattoo, I was like, oh yeah, she's not there right now. But I knew you were doing your thing, so I know it's nothing like personal. I respect like Killa's boundaries, and if you're going to be a friend of Killa, you need to respect her boundaries. So, and that is also, you know, something I say out loud. Not that like I don't know that, but it's good for people to know that within like friendships as well. It's not just intimate relationships. There's changes, there's evolutions, there's things that happen, and not everything is always going to stay like one way, or people go through things, not saying like, you know what I mean, but just like in general, even like how I always talk about my best friend having her kid and her being a mother, and I'm not a mother. So it's just like, you have to learn to adapt and respect people's boundaries, and you're able to like build beautiful relationships still around what's happening. And if not, then that's just life, right?
You got old school rock steady.
Right? You already know the vibes.
I just feel like there's a little bit much going on. Bottom, like the composition artistry. Oh, there we go. You see the little negative space on top as well.
No worries. I feel like I should do that for y'all too. All right. So, yeah, it's been a good week overall. I've seen a lot of people talking about Mercury in retrograde. I was just asking Killa about it because, yeah, I don't fully always know what that means. So Killa would be the person that I would ask, and she's pretty much.
We're gonna correct that. Amethyst would be the person to ask.
Well, I would usually ask you, and maybe you. I talking to Amethyst.
100%.
Shout out to Queen Amethyst every time.
She has like a spiritual page.
Yes, I love it.
Whenever she posts on what season we're in, I always just say thank you. I knew I could count on you to like sort this out, because you feel the energy and you're just like, what the F is this? Yeah. And usually when it comes to retrograde, when it hits you, you're just like, why? I tried, but I don't. You're just like, what kind of force forced me into this right now? And she usually just pops up like, by the way, when retrograde is in like, here's how it goes down, and you're like, all right, yo, thanks for those training wheels because I need them.
Okay. We all need it. I even seen a meme and it was like, it didn't say the oracle, but it like said the same thing you would say, with just like, as that person that everyone kind of like turns to at times, you also have to take that step outside, that time to regroup, put thoughts together, all those things. So no, respect it every time. But yeah, things are going well. Nothing too crazy on the internet that I'm like, Killa, you gotta like, no. So yeah. I'm so happy that you're doing well. And guys, look at her. She's looking amazing, immaculate, glowing even more. So, give her queen her space and her time. Okay. She is here. She's present, more present than probably before, right? So
Big Draco.
So we're about to like just dive right in, because last week we kind of like, we didn't cut it short, but we cut it because we knew we would have kept you guys probably for a whole nother set of time. But we really, really wanted to discuss some more things and just really have a transparent episode. As I said, both Killa and I are Libras. Both of our birthdays are like in days within each other, and we gonna talk about what we want to talk about. So eat fruit, mind your business.
Eat fruit and mind your business.
So first things first is Killa, the question was, did you vote?
That was the question. The answer is I had intentions to vote and I ended up with a headache and went to sleep. Do I feel bad about that? No. No, I don't. No, I don't. Me personally, as a Black woman or as a Black person, I don't really feel bad about not voting for parties that are built in white supremacist systems that have literally been in history, like going back and forth with how shitty they do with us. For me, my usual way of moving with my vote is to find the person that doesn't have the backative, that's the underdog, that doesn't have views that completely go against mine, and back them. But what I have to understand is that has to be something that we unite in our vote with. So for Black people, I just don't see the point in y'all voting if you don't have a united vote that you're voting for. And I don't vote for any of the main parties. I won't be voting Liberal because they have their history. I'm not voting for Conservative because they have their open history. And I'm not voting NDP just because that they propose themselves as like not those white guys. So that was my voting. I just decided to deal with my headache and not touch the polls. But I had intentions to. Just because, like, if I do have the right, sometimes it's not about the actual outcome, it's about the exercise and doing it. I mean, like, you always like take that habit of participating where your participation is available, kind of thing.
I agree, but it's like, even the other day, I received mail for jury duty, and I was just like, the audacity of y'all. And maybe today you guys maybe have not heard me speak so like bluntly about things that like really affect us, but like, a bitch is turning 30 and as a 30-year-old grown-ass woman, I need to say some things. You know what I mean? No, I didn't vote. Why? Why? I ask because I'm Black. Why? Because as Killers pointed out very specifically, like it's built in a lot of stuff that like have nothing to do with us, like and just politics in general. You know what I mean? And when I think about it, like you think about voting and how that even system come about, it's like we don't even have things implemented in these systems to vote where it would make sense. It's still all, in my opinion, still going to benefit whomever. And I know there's people out there right now probably yelling at the TV or listening in the AirPods and be like, this girl, like, you can't do that. It's your responsibility as a Canadian, da, 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 da. But is it? Is it? Because a lot's happened, especially in the last 2 to 3 years, that nothing was needed for my consent. Not anything happened y'all needed my consent for. So help me to understand why I need to go somewhere and fill out something to tick off a box when everything that's happened in my life, which would have been a full term of something, I haven't had any say in it. No say at all. And say as to how it affects my family that's a part of the essential worker healthcare system, the safer people, like Killa, the entrepreneurs, people that I know that have startups, people that I know in all spectrums, we've had no permission, no say into anything that has happened, especially in the last 3 years. So why should I vote? And if you at home feel like you really have something to say to me, or you really want to educate me on things, I'm more than willing at all times to have a conversation, because I'm not ignorant. And this conversation, even Killa's opinion, like I don't take that as ignorance, because it's just how I feel, and it's how I usually feel as a Black person, but now more than ever. And it's fucking with me a lot. And when, yeah, we're gonna get into it. I can't even like, you know what I mean? But yeah, Killa,
No, I totally agree. Like when you understand what a vote does, like we don't have any power in our vote because we're not united in a vote. You know what I'm saying? Like other communities, other races, they know that they can go to specifically conservatives because their interests are being accounted for.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's because it's the same interest as the person that's running. You know what I mean? Like that party has the same interest that aligns with this particular sect of people. We don't necessarily have that. And that's why we need to figure out unitedly who we're putting our numbers to. And that for me is like, that's the piece of decolonization for us. Cause like the vote could work. That's how it's set up. It can work, but like we have to make it work for us. And that's where we're at right now, is where we have to say, okay, well, it's time to vote. We are not accounted for in this particular vote. So this is what we can do. And here's what it's going to do to further us moving forward, where we can actually say, okay, well, this candidate aligns with what we need, as opposed to just this candidate needs our numbers. And if we unite our numbers here, you know, they're going to have to fucking notice us, kind of thing.
And that's what I'm saying. They give you this person at the forefront and they're like, this is, choose out of these mans. And our thing is Black people, when you realize who they're, the people behind them, like who are they, right? Who are they?
They're really who you're voting for. If you think you're really voting for that person, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So I've been feeling very, I won't say very angry, because as a Black person saying that, you know, it can, you see what I'm saying? It's just like, it's really unfortunate. And if you guys have voted, that I'm not shaming anyone. You do what feels right to you. But personally for like, it was just a no-go. I didn't see the point. Nothing in my life, besides the things that I could control, that I was able to. But when it came to work, there were things I couldn't control. When it came to finances, there were things that I couldn't control. When it came to attending places for spiritual guidance and religious purposes, there was no, like, you know what I mean? Like the vote Didn't matter then. So now it's just like, when it comes to my body, when it comes to my body, y'all do not care. Y'all don't care. Y'all are telling me I got to do what y'all need me to do. Right? When my family member was going through cancer, it didn't hit that much. But now that is something that you guys clearly have your agenda of whatever needs to be pushed. And I refuse to say that this is a cure. It is a shot. Legally speaking, a vaccine is something you take one time and it cures whatever it is to vaccinate. A shot, hence why they call it the flu shot, is something you do have to take more than once. And if you're still kind of wondering what I'm talking about, it's this vaccine. So
well, so before we just move off of like the whole voting situation, I was talking to a friend and he was just like, you imagine how many like older West Indian or even Black people like voted the Liberals in because they had that ideal of Trudeau's father back in the day, and they're still loyal to that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's an interesting angle. And told it true.
I agree.
Yikes.
I agree. Because as someone that doesn't really give it that much importance in my life, I realize, because as a Black person, no matter what system's in place, we've had to learn how to survive. And we never really had a say to how that system goes. So yeah, something that I never really, besides school, gave that much attention to. And if I were, I'd probably be in those categories of people where if I had to vote and I didn't pay attention, I'd probably just end up doing Liberal because that's what I remember as a child, his father, all of those things.
Yeah. Conditioning. Self-governing.
Yeah, so
setting this space.
I want to say before we move forward, Killa and I are not obligated, and we will not share our status of whether we are vax or non-vaxxed. That's up to you, Killa, if you want, but I just kind of want to make that disclaimer before we move forward, because it brings you to the point. It's not really anyone's business. Similar to one of those things where I feel like there's so much social conditioning now that even has to happen around this, which I'm seeing in children's cartoons, children's shows, adult programming. Like it's a lot out here. It's a lot out here. So nobody has to tell anyone what they have done with their body.
That being said, I'm just gonna like jump on that tail and ask like somebody out there, like if you were told that you had to tell, like if you had an abortion in order to get into the gym, would you think that was okay? Or like if you had to tell somebody that you had a hernia, that would stop you from being able to go to the gym? What if like getting a hernia was the condition to not being allowed everywhere in the city? Like, would that seem normal to you? I did some errands earlier this morning, and I'm just like going through different places, and I'm seeing the signs like, hey, you have to show your vaccination passport if you're going to dine in, if you're going to be in the establishment, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, the fact that everybody thinks it's normal to just to participate because you're told that you're going to participate, but really you've also been told that there's really no way for you to enforce it. If somebody wants to sue you for infringing on their human rights, they can. Can you imagine that the government has given you all these guidelines to infringe on somebody's human rights on their behalf, and you're actually doing it because you decided to be part of the majority? And it's just like, one thing that I'm really taking in now is that when you're dealing with this whole vaccination conversation situation, you just have to have a lot of compassion, because it's not really about whether you've been vaccinated or not. It's about understanding, like, it's a fine line to keep your rights. And so right now I look at the vaccination and I almost like equate it to when you go on a website and you get the cookies message. And it basically says, like, as long as you stay on this site, nigga, we tracking your ass because that's how cookies work. But are you okay with us tracking your ass because that's how cookies work? Just let us know, yes or no. You're like, why are you asking me? I just click X because I'm like, you're not giving me a choice. Same thing as you were saying. And that's how this vaccination thing is looking to me. It's not about whether or not you're safe. It's not even about this little weird virus that they picked up in a fucking lab that fucking Bill Gates is trying to like push to the world. It's a thin line between you having to throw up your passport and like basically you really not being able to leave the house, or you being told that when there's no food and the ration starts that you can't touch Mars. And I have much more views on that. Like, I'm seeing a lot, but I mean, I look at this vaccine and I try to look past it. And like I said, a lot of compassion, because it's not about whether you're vaccinated or not. It's about polarizing people. And I just see this as a really huge power struggle. And I think of like the verse in the Bible where it's like, we fight not against flesh and blood, but against power and principalities, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And I'm just like, your enemy isn't moving the way you thought they were going to move. And you got to be careful, just because you're not using that particular liberty at the moment, to just be cool to let go of it like that and be like, all right, well, catch me later because I'm not using it now. You know what I mean? Like, well, why did you give up your rights? Well, I wasn't using that one, so I didn't really care.
It's really like everything you said and more, you know what I mean? And some people at home may be like, what do you mean you don't have a choice? Look at everything happening around. Look at everything that's being pushed to you, commercials, ads, your workplace, your home, your living environment, your neighborhood, where your children go to school. And then you tell me what choice you have. And tell me if this is not another visual separation of the rich from the poor. You know what I mean? My brother and I have had this conversation a lot because, you know, she's at the point where she's at retirement age, right? I'm just turning 30. I'm praying to God, God willing, that I have a whole nother set of 30 to catch up to where she is. You know what I mean? So even that I had to bring into her mind. The same thing where you're saying compassion, when I was trying to explain certain things to her, where it was like, yo, you're at a different part of your journey, where maybe, you know, when you watch The Matrix or things like that, and there's a group of people that didn't get the vax or didn't, you know, go with the system, and they were able to be okay because they were at that end in life, versus people like myself or yourself, Kelly, that are right at our prime. And as I said, we have another, God willing, 30 to 50 years of this experience to be a part of. So what does life look like for us then, especially if we already don't have $1 million equity, liquid equity, and things of that nature? How does life look for us now when we're going to stand up to our boss at our minimum paying jobs that we can't even take a 17-minute break on a 15-minute break to be like, yo, I'm not getting this? Already workplaces have told plenty of people that they will be let go under the act of insubordination. That's how they're getting it off in these workplaces. You know what I mean? But yet still they want to say, oh, it's not mandatory. But if I'm a single mother and I have 3 children and I'm living in metro housing and this one job at, you know, wherever, you know what I mean? You guys feel me? Is like, I'm getting like really upset, but like people's life, that's the reality of a lot of people's life. And a lot of y'all are looking on social media way too fucking much. You need to understand that's a lot of people's reality. Single mom, single dad, one income household. Matter of fact, I'm not even counting the people that maybe even had businesses, had to shut down their businesses. What the fuck do we look like now being like, yo, if we're given the option of either you vax and your business can prosper, yo, I'll even give you an extra little bit of bread to let it flourish because you vax. Versus if you don't vax, you can't go to these places, go and eat. You can't go to these places to link up with people. You can't go to these places, fly and see your family that is sick, that is ill, that is in need. And if you do, we're going to inconvenience the fuck out of your life. You're going to miss about 14 to 30 days of your income. Plus, they're going to charge you some extra bed to stay at these incubated quarantine spaces that are unhealthy. I hope you're getting my point. I really hope y'all are getting my point. And once again, I say it's not about being vax or non-vax. It's the way life is being structured around this, the way they're trying to now operate, the way naturally humans interact and thing. It's just like someone was saying, shout out to Joe Budden podcast. They were having an argument at the fact of like, yo, it being even affecting like the dating world and the way like us as human species are even interacting with people. Like how often, let's be honest, has someone even asked you, yo, you got your AIDS, your HIV test, you got your like niggas are begging you damn near to take off the rubber. Okay. Okay. Let me just say it like that. But like now people up in front and center want to be like, yo, are you vaxxed or whatever the case? Like, this is not normal. This is not like okay. It is a serious violation of like just being a human. Whether I wanted to or not, y'all really didn't give us a choice. And that's not cool with me. Not now, not never. You know what I mean? I spent like 30 years on this earth for jobs that I've even been at for like over a decade of my life to now be like, yo, this is a crossroad now. Y'all never considered when you're implementing those plans how those people are affected. Can you imagine? Can you imagine your parents working somewhere for like 30 odd years looking towards their this and their that after giving all that time, and now they want to implement systems where your parent or whoever, they may lose that whole pack because they decided not to jig something in their body. It's disgusting. It's unqualified for. We are all not the same. You know what I mean? And I'm seeing way too much marketing towards Black people, way too much marketing towards minorities. And that's another question for me. Why? Why does Juvenile have a remix, but I don't see Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On with the remix? For none of her songs tell people to get vaccinated. A lot of these things are making me wonder, what the fuck is up?
Well, I mean, what I kind of see is, like I said, it's a power struggle, but like really in this day and age, like people are waking up to the fact that you can heal yourself. Honestly, like take it in. They killed Dr. Sebi. I don't give a fuck. They killed Nipsey Hussle too because he was unearthing Dr. Sebi. And don't think that because the man cured AIDS and cancer it's just that. The fact is he was promoting a healthy lifestyle that doesn't go in with anything that even the grocery stores or the drugstore is telling you should be about. And don't underestimate that, because that's greed. That's money. And what I see right now is everybody's rights are being hemmed up and held up, literally just so that you can opt into pharmaceuticals as an industry for like the next 10 to 20 years. And that to me is what they did. They affirmed their dominance in a place where they're not really necessary. In all honesty, most pharmaceuticals aren't necessary. It doesn't need to be as big of an industry as it is, and yet it is. And now that's what you have to understand, where the power is. Like that part. And how is the power behind a corporation? Why do you have a government that answers to corporations and not to you, but you're the one voting them in? And that's what I see with this whole, like, are you vaxxed or are you not vaxxed? Vax passport. It's like, did you opt into our expertise and like pinnacle of being that healthcare shmee when you're not? You know what I mean? Like, tell me you bought into it. And if you didn't, you're being demonized, just like the Muslims were after 9/11, just like Black people have been in America and all over the world for years for being criminals, when ain't nothing wrong with us being any more criminal than the rest of anybody else, because a mind is a mind. And like, I don't know, it's and then I see the liberals getting voted back in, and I'm just kind of like, I'm not gonna tell anybody to wake up today. I'm just not. But that's pretty much what I see. this is all just like, at the end of the day, it's about controlling a way of life. It's about controlling a system. It's literally tied into racism, because that's what racism does. Like the exact same thing that this whole vaccination situation is doing is what all types of segregation, discrimination, inequality, and all that other stuff does. And like, you just look at the same behaviors over and over and over. You know what I mean? Like, it started with cotton, and then we moved over to tobacco, and and then after we did that, we went into agriculture and food services, and nobody really noticed that. You know what I mean? Like, the same company that owns big tobacco companies, or who own a lot of these food companies like ConAgra and Kraft and blah blah blah, that you guys like to sit down and look. And what they do is they take the same marketing principles that they took to get you hooked on tobacco, and they implement it into the way that you eat by actually pounding your body with sugar, fat, and salt in pure substance, so that you'll get addicted to it. You know what I'm saying? And like, no wonder you're going to need a pharmaceutical company, because you are definitely eating contrary to what your body needs as fuel. Exactly. Here comes Dr. Sebi saying, nah, cancer and AIDS can be cured. Wait, but those bring in so much money. Because we have to fund so that the pharmaceutical companies can get these cures so that we can live a great life and have big feasts with our family from those same fucking grocery stores that are killing you to begin with. So to me, what this whole COVID and vaccination situation is and has become is another way to just reaffirm that way of life and keep those systems in place. And for me, I never really looked at it like that until basically this morning, when I was thinking about the fact that we're really going to talk about this.
Yeah.
And I understand why I end up having to be demonized, because I'm literally saying, I don't trust your drugs. But also what I'm saying is, I'm going to self-govern this fucking space over here, and y'all can do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Whatever the fuck y'all want to do. Whatever the fuck you want to do. And, you know, I'm very sad. I was having this discussion with Killa, that one day I was just having major anxiety attack. And I was like, what is happening? Guys, make me feel like this. This hasn't happened in quite some time. And through talking to Kelly, I was like, yo, it's this whole thing. Like, the way it's going, the way it's being pushed, the way it's fucking with the way you're able to receive your income, all of these things, the way you're like, it just puts a strain on so many things. And, you know, to you guys out there, if you're going through the same thing, like you're not alone, you know what I mean? If you relate to any of the thoughts that we've been sharing, and, you know, you've seen how they dealt with and tried to demonize Nicki Minaj with the swiftness. They tried to demonize her when she was able to be like, yo, my cousin reacted this way. And as a celebrity, she's one of the few ones, you know, that came out and told the truth and said, I'm not taking y'all check. I'm not taking your check. I'm not coming to your Met Gala. I'm going to step out when I'm ready, in my way, unvaxxed. And even if she was vaxxed, it's still her way in her time. And that's all everyone is saying. But that is a multi-millionaire you're looking at, and look at how they're dealing with it. So how can y'all look around at us
and understand that, like, it's still not easy as somebody who doesn't have to worry about their livelihood to come out and go against the grain when the whole world is like, the responsible thing has been drummed into you to take this vaccination and push it. Very strange. But it's strange that you feel like that's the most, like, how can you figure out what's responsible when you never ever, like, I don't personally feel like I've gotten down to the truth on what COVID is or what the vaccine is. I feel like I have way more misinformation than I do information. So I just want, like, how does anybody feel like they were able to really make a decision? You know, like asking for a friend, like, how'd you figure that out? And the answer is that nobody wants to say. It's like, you look to the left and you look to the right, you see what them niggas was doing, and you're just like, all right, fuck it. Which is what it is.
And this is not me. Sorry, Killa. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm rambling, but like, basically it's still not easy for her to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why they came at her with the swift. Because like they got to nip it in the bud real quick.
Facts. And it's also the fact of like, we go through so many things in the workplace. Why is this now what you guys care about? And for those of you that want to come and question me, and I realize that's an argument a lot of people have, oh, you don't know, and this and that. I have people very, very, very close to me in my family that had COVID, went through it, had to be on the oxygen machine, everything. Like, really thought that I was going to have to say goodbye to some important people in my life. Okay. And my other question to that is, yo, I don't question that COVID is real. Okay. But it's the way they're going about it, who's running it, all of this. And the fact that, as I said, the part that just bugs me the most is feeling like I don't have a choice, even though that's all people are screaming to my face. And that's a mind fuck, and that's not cool. And that's the type of shit that brings us to like total recall and questioning our reality and all that shit. Because, you know, if it wasn't for my spirituality, it wasn't for the people that I really love and have around me, I don't know where I would have been. Especially like now, like 2019 to now. Like, I don't know. I know a lot of people that didn't make it, a lot of people that took their own life, a lot, because it's a fucking lot. And stop shaming people for the choices that they make. As Killa said, we must, more than anything, if that's something we have control of right now, is showing each other and giving each other compassion and empathizing with one another. Because everyone has had their own personal reasons why they should or shouldn't. And we need to have compassion.
Very true. Totally about that. But also, that being said, like, you should really know why you took that vaccination. And you, no matter what that reason is, you should have no problem being about that. So before you worry about why somebody else is getting it or not getting it, you really need to center yourself on why you're getting it from not getting it. No, for real though, like the real reason. Just the, oh, you know, I just got it because I want it. I just got it because of this. No, get it. Tell the real reason why you got it. You know, it's, and you don't have to tell it to anybody else, but you do need to keep it like square in your heart, especially if you are going to be about that love and compassion, because you need to tie it in with truth. You know what I mean? Like don't just say it's because you wanted to travel. Say it's because you felt like you were losing your way of life and it just seemed easier to concede and less harmful in the moment, so you did it anyway. So that's what you chose to do. You know what I mean? Like, say that. Don't say it to me, but say that before you start saying, well, I don't know why you're not vaccinated.
Yeah, don't, like, that whole projection, y'all need to stop it. Y'all need to stop it. And I'm seeing slowly the conversation is getting to people just wanting to not even have something like that as regular discussion. And I say, yeah, I agree with treating it as something like politics. We're in the workplace, they usually say politics is something, you know, personal stuff. Like, I had some girl at work, like I haven't seen her in like almost like 2-3 years. And she come ask me, oh, so are you vaccinated? And I just like didn't even like acknowledge her question. And I hope that, you know, maybe she has some time to kind of think it through and realize like why I didn't even dignify that with an answer, because it's none of your business. It's none of your business. It shouldn't affect the way that you deal with me, because in my opinion, everyone should be practicing safety practices. I'm not going to push on y'all what I feel the safety practices are, but for me, that includes me wearing my mask in public places, that includes me sanitizing, that includes me like doing the things that I feel comfortable doing, no matter what y'all say, if it cures it or not. The same way up to this day, y'all are telling me I'm not supposed to wash my chicken, but here we are.
And that, no, I'm just gonna walk out because that was I second all of that. Been telling her she shouldn't be washing her chicken like vinegar and it ever hurt anybody before they ate it. Okay.
Nobody. Like, why y'all fight so hard against it? So, you know, moving forward, I want my last words to be just in terms of like this section of it. It's just like, whether you are vaxxed or not, please like have just compassion and empathy to others out there. You don't know what their situation is. You don't know the real reason why they may have chose to go a certain route. And you don't have to force your, you know, opinion on each other, whether that's someone in your family, someone you're in a relationship, some your friends or people you're just interacting with at the store. Like, yo, I'm at the point where like even with that whole paper towel thing that happened a couple months ago and still is happening kind of, where it's just like, yo, if I'm going, like even in the grocery store, if I'm walking, because I realize people can't even walk or drive their cart. If I'm walking and somebody's doing, I just let them go. That's been my energy. Go ahead. Go ahead. Because the way things are happening right now, I feel like everyone is just on like this thin line of like a breaking point. Good, I don't know, or bad. I don't even want to know. Just go ahead. I'm not tripping. I can wait because none of this is worth me losing my life. And I do want to see how this pans out. You know what I mean? As a kid, we talk about the future, and every day is always the future, but now I really feel like the future is really futuring. So I wanna see if I can make it through, see a little bit more of Wagwan. You know what I mean? So go ahead, go ahead. I'm not in no rush. If I can't come eat at your spot, that's all right, my G. Can I get takeout? You know what I mean? And that's the way it's just gonna be. That's the way it's gonna be. We're gonna have to figure out this new norm, right? But in setting my boundaries, what I need to do is not harbor all this. Before, this part never even existed in our like living space. So the fact now that they forced us to make this a part of our like subconscious irks me. And I'm gonna try all that I can not to make it that. So I'm not tripping no one. If I'm in a grocery store, it's the last tomato, take it. Cause you know what? Me have two seed that one, me go plant it and water it and grow my tree them. And that's just how life is gonna go for me. Because I watch The Purge, I see a lot of things, and I see how y'all be. Driving and walking, it's a lot of greed out there, a lot of greed. If that's one characteristic that is like more of a negative side that I've seen this COVID thing bring out is greed. So I don't need it. What's the opposite of greed, Killa?
I don't know, humility.
Let me see. Because you remember how last week I was saying the book says like you're trying to do something, if you're trying to like release it,
Generosity.
you gotta write
the opposite, like where you want the energy to be.
Yeah.
Generosity, maybe. I don't know.
I'm Googling it right
Selfless?
now.
Maybe selfless.
Yeah, you're right. The opposite nouns according to Oxford: generosity, temperance, indifference. We'll go with generosity. That was the first antonym. Yeah. Opposite of being greedy, generous. So I am generous. I am generous. And that's it. The positive energy I have to give, I'm gonna be generous with it. I'm gonna not like, no, y'all can do this all you want in there. Right now, it's some real light worker shit. For real.
So said, so done.
What were your like last thoughts or feelings about this before we head out, Killa?
First of all, happy birthday. So birthday week's the last day your ass is gonna be 25.
Right? Thank you, Killa.
I just walk you out of this episode and like bear blessings, love, and light, but also just like, super excited for everywhere that you're going and all the things that you've done. Like I know you don't know how awesome you are and how far you've come, but I'm so excited for you to like even just reveal onto yourself so that you can kind of be your own best fan and like the sky's the limit. And I just wanted to give you like a big happy birthday shout out because like you're an awesome girl inside.
Thank you. That is the third time in 36 hours I've gotten that message. I don't know what God's trying to tell me, but I hear what he's like. That's like the third Amethyst and then another artist. I don't know where they're just like, do you know the real meaning of humble? It's not a good thing. Stop being humble. I was like,
I disagree.
geez. Do you want to read the
I know.
definition?
I know what they say, but I'm just like, I've learned humility through Christ. I've learned my humility through God. And like, when I have to know that the fear of God is humility, I can't feel like humility wrong. The way that it might be put in that dictionary, yeah, stop doing that shit. That shit's not real. You like, even in the fear of the Lord, like you're not made to be that person. Even in your humility, like you're made to be great. So that's where I disagree, but I'm always in alignment with the amethyst. So
1000.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Killa. And like, you know, your birthday's coming up. I'm excited as well. Again, I was like, yo, you're literally leaving the decade I'm like just entering. So I found that really dope. And like, I'm excited just to keep bugging you for questions and just going through this thing called life. Like, geez.
Amen and chat.
Yeah.
You know, keep it up.
Thank you. You as well. And the next thing is not as light. I'm sorry, guys, kind of like a happy episode. But R.Kelly, he was recently found, he was convicted on all counts of running a sexual racketeering ring. Whew. That is a lot. And I did that not as cheering, to clarify for y'all, because I still feel like what I used to say, and I still say, like, I don't feel like jail is the answer for all of these things. I heavily apply that to R. Kelly. A lot of the stuff that went down, in my opinion, it was wrong. It was wrong. But I feel like through now studying back, given that new information, I felt like it was about him and a bit more insight as to what was going on really in his life and the people in his family and what he was growing up with. I really feel like that man really needs, you know, some mental help. You know, there's a thin line. There's a thin line between genius and insanity, you know, and it's unfortunate that, of course, tracks that we grown up to love, I Believe I Could Fly, all the things like, but that man needs help. And while, yes, I'm happy that those women have somehow, I'm hoping it has found them peace, but I don't feel like just in terms of like humanity, like that was the right move for something like that. Him being in there, I don't see how that helps guide his thoughts, helps him to properly understand what he did was wrong, help him to seek forgiveness. It's not all the time people that are in prison or whatever find the library and decide, you know what I mean? So I don't feel like he was given enough tools and resources to be put in a position that maybe after his sentencing or things like that, that he can be better off in society. You know what I mean? So it's a sticky one for me, but I didn't want to like act as if that wasn't something huge that kept being talked about and that now hasn't like not come to an end, but more of a like clear solution, not solution, but what is the word? I don't even know what to say, guys. I don't even know what to say.
Some form of a destination.
Yeah.
I hear everything you're saying and I do agree with it. When I look at the correctional system, it's not made to rehabilitate anybody
At all.
It's made to take people's rights and to make money off them when their rights are gone. Are you even punishing them for their crime? No, you're making them do time without getting paid for you. So it doesn't really have anything to do with the crime that they do. Because like really when you look at it, there's a bag of different crimes that can be had. But like do they all get reformed from you locking somebody up, giving them a number, taking their rights and making them work on free labor? You know what I mean? Like what does that really reform to begin with? So when I look at it, it's on one side, like on the surface, I'm just like, yeah, well, I mean, somebody did something wrong and they got caught and they got put in jail. Like justice was, yeah, like I guess in the simplest form served. Also, yeah, R. Kelly is ill. He is a sick person. And he needed to be taken off the streets. And I don't know, like, how else were you going to take him off the streets in the current confines of like how it works? You know what I mean? Like he definitely, it was either that or it's the insane asylum. One of the two. And which one did he qualify more for? Probably jail. Hey, you never know. You could have probably qualified for the insane asylum and nobody checked. But yeah, it's heavy, but it's almost cut and dry for me in terms of the fact that, yeah, he kind of needed to pay for what he did, whatever the case may be. Is he ever going to get that help? I'm guessing that's just for us to pray him up. I don't know if he does ever get that help.
You know, and it just makes me even think of like judgment and being judgmental, you know, and it's just like, that man is sick. Who am I, right? Those women maybe have more say than me, but who am I to be like, yo, that's it for that. This is how long you should be in there. You know what I mean? If we're really late workers and we're really here trying to empathize and help with one another, you can clearly see that that man is sick. You know, I seen a clip Twitter posted yesterday with it was a clip of him at some concert and he was singing in full notes like, do you have your passport? Are you vaccinated? Do you want to come home with me? Like full blown. And I'm like, yo, like there's nobody around him that really like loves him, you know? And everybody has to go through their emotions. I'm tired of seeing that being like, oh, okay, Black men, this is just where we're gonna put you when you do things that we don't like. And we just want to hear people stop talking about it. Like,
honestly.
Sorry, Killa?
And honestly, like it comes, like we've said it so many times on so many episodes where it's like anything that happens, you do have to insert Blackness. And like, are some of these circumstances a result of you having a problem with Blackness? Like, is he getting hemmed up also by his Blackness? And yeah, I feel like that's inevitable at this point. When you search, you just have to find it. You're not searching there. You're really relying. We're searching just to see where we can find it so that we can like handle it as such. Sorry, I'm looking up his birthday because yeah, I totally understand.
That is good. Like, when is his birthday?
Birthday. No, why not birthday song lyrics?
While she's looking.
Then that's my other thing. Everyone's like, I'm gonna cancel R.Kelly. R.Kelly is canceled. R.Kelly is 52 years old. Sorry, 54. 54 years old. His birthday is January 8th.
Ooh.
So here's a slight thing for me. Like, he definitely went through what he went through, and I know there's at this point there's been a lot of mental damage, but there was a point where he made a choice for sure. And I'm not saying he made a choice to violate young women. Like, he made a choice to not get help, or he made a choice to not look past the fact that he didn't understand what was happening, or he made a choice to say, well, I was the one that was victimized, so I don't have to be responsible for this. Like, getting to this point at this age, there's a whole lead up to that. And I feel like there was a point where he was just like, well, I'm just going to be R.Kelly. Like, I don't care. And who knows why he chose that, but there's also that. Like, these things don't just happen. He's completely out of alignment.
That part. And that's what I'm saying. Like, for someone to even get to a point where they're making decisions the way he did, like, that wasn't all him. Like, he had to have learned that from somewhere. Mm-hmm. Like, okay. So with that being said, something interesting that I felt we could kind of like come to a close end to was there was a recent clip of Shaq, and he was just talking about the whole idea of like, he hates being called a celebrity now, and like he's sort of, in a sense, you could say, denouncing his title. So I kind of wanted to talk with you, Killa, about like the idea of the celebrity. And I know you talked about it like weeks ago, but now when an actual celebrity that a lot of people around the world is coming out and being like, yo, I don't want this acknowledgement anymore. Like, you can keep that. What are your thoughts kind of like just on that idea? It doesn't have to be specifically to Shaq.
Shaq. I just feel like the whole concept of celebrity has been unhealthy for a very long time, but it's been thriving because once again it makes money, but also it's a great distraction for anybody who feels like their life is mundane or not good enough, or it feels like there's more out there for them or whatever the case may be. And I think it's just, I'm glad somebody finally just kind of said, yeah, I kind of want out. I want to take the other pill. Like, take me out the pod and let me live off of amino acids out of a can. I don't care. I want that. It's more normal to me. And it's like that industry and the whole entertainment industry, which is why most people are so famous or called celebrities.
Facts.
I just feel like it perpetuates a very unhealthy reality, because there is no reality. Like, how can you live for years on end with no reality? No, yes, no standards, no consequences, no boundaries. You know what I mean? Like, you snap your finger, you get shit that you never used to get. Like, you went from barely having toilet paper to having like a mansion in the span of like 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? You have all these people thinking that they know you, building constructs and ideas about you, and they see the street and they think you're that person. You know what I mean? And I don't even know what that is. But like, have somebody really idolize who the hell you are, see you in real life. Maybe you aren't that person because you are whoever the heck it is you really are. And before you know it, you have negative energy coming your way. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the average person could have just gone to the damn store, picked up their eggs and went home and went about their business and scratched their ass. Like, I totally understand it. Like, it's kind of nice to see someone just say, there's nothing wrong with normal. There's nothing wrong with mundane. There's nothing wrong with everyday. There's nothing wrong with run of the mill. But also, like, there is something wrong with this extravaganza that like we've all been buying into. You know what I'm saying?
That part. And it's like, I'm happy that is one of the ones, I guess we would consider one of the real ones that is out. Sorry.
But, you know, we're all in agreement right now.
The two just
a real one. And then the real one said, yeah, a real one. That's it. I agree.
Right? But yeah, like a real one just being like, yo, my nigga, like it's similar to even Diddy came out a couple of weeks ago, not a couple of days ago, sorry. And he was just kind of like telling other rappers, like, stop like kind of wasting your money on this whole like Richard Mille situation, just like use it to buy land, you know, motivational talk. Not saying don't shoot the messenger, but the message is what I'm happy that more and more people that a lot of people idolize, even though we shouldn't idolize celebrities, like are coming out and saying the things that we should be taught or learn from other spaces in life, but for whatever reason, people feel like it's celebrities they should be learning this stuff from. So I'm just, kudos to Shaq. I'm interested to see how this plays out, because you already know I talk about the Hunger Games and movies of that sort. So I'm excited to see just how this works out, because celebrities, they probably have to be spending even more than they even had to before just to still be a celebrity, right? Because now you gotta pay for testing, everyone gotta have negative COVID, all these things. So it was an interesting concept. Yep.
And I don't think the government lets you write those off on your taxes yet. Just saying.
Would you rather be rich or famous?
Wait, are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me the money. I'll be rich.
Same.
Shit, I am rich. I'll just stay the same. Cool.
I'd rather be rich and famous, because like with the notoriety, what does that really do for you in life?
Well, for me, like, I'm already on a I don't give a fuck tip. Like, I wasn't born with any. So like, really, when you look at what fame is, it's the currency of outer esteem. Is the currency of attention. So what would I do with that? As somebody who literally like tries not to seek attention.
That, and like, I just, everything, like, honestly, I'm still reflecting even on the conversation we had last week. It was really, really powerful. So it's like, once again, I'm going to say again, if you step outside of your house and you said, I'm going to trust, I'm going to be vulnerable, I'm going to empathize, I am going to be generous, that is a whole, you're looking forward, whether you recognize it or not, to a whole different like experience, stepping out of your threshold than like all the other stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like literally applying that to everything, every single thing, every single thing. Yeah. So I feel like, yeah, I would just love you guys, let us know your thoughts at home. What you think? Did you vote? Are you mad at us what we said? Are you happy we finally said something? Let us know what you think. And you know, thank you guys for your support. I know that like last week I was late. I dropped on Thursday, so this week it will be on time. I'm gonna make sure to do everything tonight before mans get too lit. And
Right? A lot of responsibility.
that's why I'm like, I gotta do it now. And yeah, like Killa, I am excited for you to just keep growing and going on your sabbatical, because like it's just exciting when you're able to come back with new information. And I was sharing with Killa like some books that I'm looking forward to reading, just to be able to like tap into her world a bit more and like understand things a bit more. So I'm really excited for like, I'm hoping I can get some like good reading in if these guys let me have access to the book. And yeah, like what else should we say?
I don't know. It's been a great day. I'm always going to just push forward with some good energy. So I'm putting that out to everybody out there. Positive energy, love, compassion. Remember the compassion. Kay spoke on generosity. I think that's super important. Just live well. Be on that well-doing and that well-being, yo.
Amen. Guys, thank you in advance for your wellness checks on Killa.
The tip with the last drop of red wine. I thought it was rosé for a second.
Oh no, homie.
And I was like, no, because she drank.
I drank it all. I'm about to
Yeah.
have some more. That's what we doing, okay? Yeah, gone are the days. Like this weekend, man trying to force me to take shots. I was just like, my body was not, that is not its ministry anymore.
There you go.
It's the age is showing.
Hold on. Seeing as how you're going into 30 and you're about to go drink in the middle of the day, which Sex and the City character are you going into 30? Go.
Going into 30. Samantha.
Good choice.
And if you guys are real Sex and the City fans, what were you saying? I missed what you said, Killa.
Always a good choice. Samantha?
Yeah, but like if you guys are real like Sex and the City fans, you know that like as it went on, she actually was having less sex and more growth and love with herself. She even left literally like the love of her life, Jared, to like go on a self path. She's like, yo, I'm selfish. And there were a lot of moments recently, more than ever, that I had to be like, I choose me and not feel conditioned or guilty about that. So yeah, like that be it. What about you going into this next chapter of your life? Which character do you represent with the most? Or resonate, sorry.
We're gonna do resonate because you said represent. I'm like, they don't represent me and my particular brand of flyness. So no.
Never. Oh, never. Resonate. The closest they could come is to when Jennifer Huston was Carrie's assistant and it still wasn't enough sauce.
Right. Nah. It would definitely be Carrie. It's gonna be a Carrie Fever type situation. Right. That's just the vibe, like the vibrantness, the talking through her closet. You know what I mean? The running in fucking 4-inch heels through fucking Broadway, Dodgers, whatever.
Oh my god.
The fucking intersection.
Everywhere.
That's some shit. I'm giving pure 100% Carrie energy on some we're hitting 40 tips.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for life. Thank you, God, for laughter. Thank you for it all. Yeah. Amen. Yes, 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 yes. So you guys have a wonderful week. Thank you again for all your support, your prayers, your guidance, your love. Thank you. Please share, reshare. I noticed that you guys are more enjoying listening than watching on YouTube, which I don't mind. I don't know what's happening in your lives, but I appreciate the support regardless. So we go with God, shelling out the blessings. All right, guys, have a good week. Eat fruits and mind your business.